Hey, hey, good evening. It's Steve Guy here. It's a little late. It's 1:17 in the morning. About to hit the sack, but I wanted to make sure I recap today. I did find that I had been recording, been doing a lot of live streaming, and I assumed that it was recording, but it was not. I am a YouTube noob, so do apologize for the lack of updates. I've actually been streaming throughout the day and doing actually a lot of streaming, and those streams are just kind of falling to the wayside. Um, okay, recap today. Um, Started off the day looking at a couple of stocks and looked at MTP and thought about jumping into that guy, and I did. And let's just kind of take a look and see how it did. Go up here and get to the 1 minute chart. Okay, so I'll mix this with saying, I spoke during some of the live streams about the Ichimoku um, views and that how I was going to be using them, and I actually used it today and went ahead and just trusted it. And alongside, I had a couple of different views open, alongside a normal, VWAP and SMAs, MVAs, and or moving average, and then my normal view like right here. And so what I did is I was watching the pre-morning scanners and decided that this was something I wanted to get involved with. I came in. The open was at about 302, I believe. Let's see. Actually, it's up here at the top, isn't it? It opened up at 256. Ah, that's not true. It started here at about 301. I got in at 303. Purchased 200 shares. So it's about $600, which is the buying power I had for the day. I'm going to do some buying power management so I can get better, kind of take my funds and divide them by 3 and do it that way. So I have a kind of a rolling number. So I did. I got in at 303, and at about right here, a lot of people got out. People taking profits, and I stayed in. We rode on up and went ahead over here, and more people took profits, and I stayed in. And I jumped out at about 373, right in here, somewhere in this range. I'm pretty sure that's the bar I got out of. And I'll remove all and show the Ichimoku. And this is what made me get out. I think actually I got out right here. So I got out right here. As soon as that red candle popped, I went ahead and got out. As soon as we went past this Tengen, I'm still trying to learn these names, but as soon as we got past the Tengen, I went ahead and got out. And as you see, when I jumped in here, right, we jumped in probably a little too early. I think the rules kind of state that I should have got in here, but once we cleared the Tenken. But yeah, I jumped in early, grabbed this guy, and rode it on up. Went ahead, and this was going to be my line in the sand. If we went past the red line, which is the Kijun, then I was going to bail, but we did not. Plus, we were a good distance from the cloud, so I stayed in. Got a little close here, but then we started separating. And like I said, once this, I went ahead and went through here. Did see that the price was lowering by the Chinku, and went ahead and bounced on up. Because it didn't close completely in, I held the faith, went on up, and got out up in this range. So almost as good as you could possibly get in, and as good as you could get out. You can notice that the rest of the day, as soon as we went into the cloud, it was over. More cloud, and then it basically died a horrible death. So I am very pleased with that. That netted me around a 78.50 profit. It was at one time up at 120, and I did not take it. So my daily goal is $50, but I held off in there, and I know some of the reason I did it was because I didn't have any more buying power, so that was going to be the only trade I was going to be able to accomplish today. So anyway, so I decided to stay in a little longer than I probably should have. So from now on, my rules are going to be, if I double my daily goal, then I'm going to get out basically immediately, unless it is part of a very explicit run or a rip. So if I'm in one of these guys here, one of these candles, I'll stay in it. If I'm in one of these candles, I'll stay in it. If it's an obvious flag and I'm in no trouble whatsoever, I'll stay in. But other than that, that's what's going to be my new rule. I should have gotten out right here, which is probably around the 120 range, and so I left a little money on the table. But hey, that's not too bad. The second thing I did was this Abbott. I'll go back to the normal set here. Okay, so I started taking a look at Abbott, and for the 180, we've been doing pretty good. We've been moving on up, and I noticed that we were beyond the earnings, so I wasn't afraid of earnings any longer. So I'm getting in here today. So I wasn't so worried about that. We've been tracking back up. Looks like we came down for earnings, right? We were up in here. We hit earnings, dropped. So I figured it'd be a slow incline, but heck, if we can get back up even close, 78, we'll call it 78 in the next few days, that's not too bad. So I went ahead and bought an option for 78, and so we did that. So I'll bring that up in just a moment. So I bought somewhere around the 76, somewhere in this range actually, and it dropped and we got back up. So we finished the day basically broke even, I think is where I'm at this point. So everything else is profit, and now we've got the MBA, or simple moving average, the SMA coming here for the 200. So I'm hoping it's going to pick up and take off, as well as everything else looks pretty good. We're pretty low on the RSI. Stochastic obviously doing much of nothing right now, but so there was that. And then we also had our trade from yesterday, which was a Twitter. I think it's a put, and we're trying to get down here by around 38. After hours is kicking my butt, and we've popped back up a little bit. So that's where we are. I'll go back in here, and the biggest news on the day was obviously the Tesla. Before I show that, the Tesla call, which was poor in all possible judgments. I purchased it up here, okay? And here's what I've learned, is I purchased it here and paid a hefty price. Sure, it could have hung out right here. Tesla could have come in and said, hey, we've made billions and billions, and we could have shot up and went to the races, right? Okay, that could happen. But I also could have bought that same one here for the same price. So I learned that I didn't need to do that. But now, we got down here, right? And I could have potentially purchased, well, I guess here would have been the last time, right? I could have purchased it right here as well. I could have purchased it tomorrow morning, and for a call way out of the money, and and let it shoot up, right? Because I need it up here at this 272 mark would be fantastic. But as you can see, we are 12 points off that. Now, let's break down what happened. Yep. So we closed at around 258, and we went on through. Elon Musk did his call. Tesla did their call. And, yeah, to my surprise, we shot up to 266. I have some theories about what happened. I think that some people um, sold, which launched into some stops, which then made a bigger sell-off, and then they turned around and purchased those all the way up. Either that or vice versa. And anyway, we had this spike here. We cruised back up to 264, which was good to see. I'm not gonna lie, good to see. And we've pretty much finished at 258, or we're rolling at 258 right now. And so we're well below where I need to be to break even. Tomorrow I'm going to make some decisions. I've decided I'm not going to lose. I think 500 is going to be my mark as far as losing. Very, very bad. Very bad. Dumb mistakes. I could have bought this same thing here tomorrow morning. I could have bought it here tomorrow morning. Saved a ton of money. But yeah. So that's where I'm at there. So as of now, here's how we stand. I'm at 407 negative loss on the Tesla call at 265. So we need to be closing or analyze closing trade. So 265. So we really need to be. Oh, I guess it's not going to calculate it. That's odd. I think this will do it. So I need to be 266.52 or higher to start making any kind of money. And I think I got to get to here to cover the cost. I don't know. It was just a poor idea. I have until May 10th, but depending on what happens tomorrow morning, I can't come in and watch this drop down to 250, 240. I think we're on some support right here, right? So we're on a little bit of support. Got a bear flag happening. Yeah, I don't know. Gonna have to make a decision pretty early in the morning. But basically, I'm gonna be done at at a max loss of 500. I think that's where I've got to be. So, excuse me. So let's go back in and look at the rest of the lineup. We came down to Twitter. We were down here, but as you saw, that 39 put is pretty close to in jeopardy of going back up. The ABT call for 77. Right now we're sitting at the 50-cent profit, which is better than nothing. And yeah, field order. I guess it's not going to show on the trade history. Okay. Oh, not Tesla, but MTP. Okay. Well, I guess it's not going to show this probably because I got it in this privacy mode or whatnot. But yeah, made 77.88 in profit on the MTP. So I don't really know how to calculate profit loss for day. I don't really want to call the options profit loss in a particular day because those are kind of rolling, I guess. And so I'm gonna not include those particular ones. Yeah. So I'm gonna add something to the end of this. Maybe I'll do something a little more formal tomorrow. And I'm doing well, I think, on stocks themselves, on just trading stocks and penny stocks and those kind of things. I'm not doing hot on options. I think I've got like maybe a 40% win rate on options. So I'm probably going to not do those any longer. Although I may take a Microsoft option at the bell, a call option, and Microsoft probably should run at least 5% in the morning. And here's the way I've got it figured out. If I go into charts and I go MSFTP or SFTP, MSFT, right? And I come here. This is after hours. We've already went up 1, 2 levels. We're gonna scoop back down, and this looks pretty close to what Twitter looked like the other day when I made the very same decision. We're at 129.35. It looks like. If I come into the options, MSFT, and I come probably looking around the 3rd and pick up a 130 for 85, or potentially this one here, this 129. Yeah, the 129, because we're already in there. I was trying to figure out how that was possible. But anyway, if I go to the 129, would have to do it pretty early. Let me get the word of the 130 here. 129, and if we can even go up to 132, it's a decent low climb, $187 profit. I think it's very possible. We're just talking picking up 2 points tomorrow. Yeah, I think that's something that's very possible. So I may pick up 1 or 2 of those in the morning. But outside of that, I'm not really looking for a whole lot. I am doing a little watch list of options. I got XOM on a downtrend, HOG call, HES, HES for a put, BIIB, which is Biogen, for a put, KMB for a put, T, which is T-Mobile, I believe. T. What is T? T. AT&T. That's right. AT&T was looking at a call. I want to watch them at the bell, see what happens. They didn't really do a whole lot right here in after hours, which I would have hoped for. And then MSFT on the bell. Looking at some other stocks. Looking at CSEO to move up, AMAT to go up, CGC up, X to go up, AEO to go up, CEIN and AIG all to go up. Looking at those as possible options as well. Sorry, and the penny stocks that I'm currently watching. There's quite a few. I think my favorite will be MBRX, AKRK, SUNW, SUNW, and TLGT. I'm going to watch that one at at open. I don't suggest that you buy any of the stocks that I just mentioned unless that's something that you want to do. Do all your due diligence and look them over. I'm not a stock professional, obviously. So, do your own due diligence, see what you think. And until tomorrow, I will I'll let you guys go. And I will be streaming live tomorrow at some point throughout the day. Hopefully in celebration as the Tesla stock shoots up to about 290, which is not real likely. But if I definitely will be streaming at some point. I don't do necessarily a lot of talking during that as I work throughout the day as well. But I will go ahead and make sure I'm being updating, and then I will probably bring a little bit more of a formal watch list tomorrow night, and might just call it something like my wacky watch list. I don't know. I don't want you guys to excuse me. That's Expo marker. I don't want you guys to take the things that I say here as financial advice, because it definitely is not. It is simply putting that stuff out there so that I can kind of test myself. I can knowledge check myself later on, see how I'm doing, and be able to go back and see, where I excelled and where I did not. And I think it's a good place to go ahead and put it up on YouTube, and that way I can keep that in check, and then you guys can just follow along and see how I'm doing as well, and see how my progress goes. Hopefully we don't bum out this Ameritrade account before I'm able to start turning profits, but I do have a plan, which is going to stop doing stupid things. That's the plan. It sounds easy, right? But definitely going to stop doing unwise and making unwise decisions when it comes to these options. I'm not going to do any more options over 150, and even then, I'm going to really try to limit those. Like I said, I do pretty well on those opening runs in the mornings, and I think that if I had more buying power, I would be able to, make somewhat of the same funds I would be playing options, until such point as I can build my account and then be able to play options and not really take as big of a hit as I have done thus far. So, with that, I will bid you all a good evening, and we'll talk again tomorrow. Good night.